Hi there, villagers. To ease you into your bedtime routine today, I'm going to provide you with about 20 minutes of me reading various stories that Charlotte loved as a child. The selection is from her bookshelf that got taken away and put up in the roof, so I had to come back down again just to do this. Hope you enjoy. This is the selection. I'm Not Cute, The Paper Dolls, Dogger, I Like Books, I Love You Through and Through, Hippo Has a Hat, Dr. Pig, and leaving you on a comic note, Hippo's I'm Not Cute by Jonathan Allen. Baby Owl decided to explore the woods. Nobody will bother me, he thought. Then along came Rabbit. You're so cute, Baby Owl, said Rabbit, and so small. And Rabbit gave Baby Owl a great big hug. I'm not cute, said Baby Owl, and I'm not small. I am a huge, scary hunting machine with great big, soft and silent wings. Then along came Fox. Doing a little dance, Baby Owl, asked Fox. You're so cute and so fluffy. And Fox gave Baby Owl a great big hug. I'm not cute, said Baby Owl, and I'm not fluffy. I am a huge, sleek hunting machine with great big see-in-the-dark eyes. Then along came Squirrel. You're so cute, Baby Owl, said Squirrel, with those big baby eyes. And Squirrel gave Baby Owl a great big hug. I'm not cute, shouted Baby Owl, and I don't have big baby eyes. Then along came Mum. There you are. How's my Baby Owl? Asked Mum. It's not fair, said Baby Owl. Rabbit, Fox and Squirrel all say I'm cute, but I'm not. Of course you're not, Baby Owl, said Mum. You're a huge, scary, sleek, sharp-eyed hunting machine. And Mum gave Baby Owl a great big hug. Baby Owl thought for a moment. But I am cute, said Baby Owl. I am. Poor Baby Owl, said Mum. You're tired. It's bedtime for you. Mum tucked Baby Owl up in his warm, cosy bed, and she read him a story. And Baby Owl drifted off to sleep. You're so cute, Baby Owl, whispered Mum. For a huge, scary, sleek, sharp-eyed hunting machine, that is. Good night, Baby Owl. The Paper Dolls by Julia Donaldson and Rebecca Cobb. There once was a girl who had tiger slippers and a ceiling with stars on it, and a butterfly hair slide which she kept losing, and 2 goldfish, and a nice mother who helped her make some paper dolls. They were Ticky and Tacky and Jacky the Backy, Jim with 2 noses and Joe with the bow. They danced and they jumped and they sang. And they met a dinosaur who clawed and roared and said, I'm going to get you. But the paper dolls sang, you can't get us. Oh, no, no, no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky and Jacky the Backy, and Jim with 2 noses and Joe with the bow. And they jumped onto a bus and rode to a farmyard and danced with the pigs. They lay on a rooftop and stared at the stars till a tiger slunk out of his den, and he crouched and snarled and said, I'll leap up and catch you. But the paper dolls sang, you can't catch us. Oh, no, no, no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky and Jacky the Backy, and Jim with 2 noses and Joe with a bow. And they floated down the stairs. They danced around the honey pot and kicked crumbs and explored an island, till a fierce gorilla grinned his grin and gnashed his teeth and said, I'm coming to crunch you. But the paper dolls laughed and sang, you can't crunch us. Oh, no, no, no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky and Jacky the Backy, Jim with 2 noses and Joe with the bow. And they hopped into the garden. They sniffed the flowers and chatted to a ladybird and lay down in a forest of grass. But along came a boy with a pair of scissors. He said, "I'll snip you." And he did. He snipped them into tiny little pieces and said, "You're gone forever." But the paper dolls sang, "We're not gone, oh no, no, no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky and Jackie the Backy, with Jim with two noses and Joe with the bow." And the pieces all joined together and the paper dolls flew into the little girl's memory, where they found white mice and fireworks and a starfish soap and a kind granny, the butterfly hair slide, and more lovely things each day and each year. The little girl grew into a mother who helped her own little girls make some paper dolls. They were Poppy and Pinky and Binky the Blinky, Fred with one eyebrow and Flo with a bow. And they jumped and they danced and they sang. Dogger by Shirley Hughes. Once there was a soft brown toy called Dogger. One of his ears pointed upwards and the other flopped over. His fur was worn in places because he was quite old. He belonged to Dave. Dave was very fond of Dogger. He took him everywhere. Sometimes he gave him rides in a trolley. Sometimes he pulled him along on a lead made of string like a real dog. When it was cold, he wrapped him in a bit of blanket. Now and again, Dave's mum said that Dogger was getting much too dirty. She showed Dave how to wash him in a bowl of soapy water, and then they hung him up by his tail on the washing line to dry. Dave's baby brother Joe liked hard toys. He liked putting them in his mouth and biting on them because he was getting teeth. Dave's big sister Bella took 7 teddies to bed every night. She had to sleep right up against the wall to stop herself from falling out. But Dave only liked Dogger. One afternoon, Dave and Mum set out to collect Bella from school. Mum took Joe in the pushchair and Dave took Dogger. Next to the school gate where the mums were waiting was a playing field. Some men with ladders were putting up coloured flags. Mum said there was going to be a summer fair to get money to buy things for the school. Dave pushed Dogger right up against the railings to show him what was going on. Just then, children started to come out of school. An ice cream van came round the corner playing a tune. Bella ran up with her satchel flying. "Mum, can we have an ice cream?" Mum gave her some money for 2 cones. Joe didn't have a whole ice cream to himself because it was too dribbly. On the way home, Dave walked beside the pushchair giving Joe licks off his ice cream. Joe kicked his feet about and shouted for more in between the licks. At tea time, Dave was rather quiet, and in the bath he was even quieter, and at bedtime he said, "I want Dogger," but Dogger was nowhere to be found. Mum looked under the bed, she looked behind the cupboard, she searched in the kitchen and underneath the stairs. Dave watched anxiously through the banisters. Joe watched through the bars of his cot. Bella joined in to look for Dogger. She turned out her own toy box just in case he was in there, but he wasn't. When Dad came home, he looked for Dogger too. He searched the shed and down into the garden, down the path with the torch, but Dogger was quite lost. Dave was very sad when he went to bed. Bella kindly lent him one of her teddies to go to sleep with, but it was not the same thing as Dogger. Dave kept waking up in the night and missing him. The next day was Saturday and they all went to the school summer fair. The playing field was full of stalls and sideshows. There was a fancy dress parade. There were sports with an egg and spoon race and a wheelbarrow race and a father's race. Bella was very good at races. She won the 3-legged race with her friend Barbara. "Would you like to go for a race?" they asked Dave. But Dave didn't feel like racing. He was missing Dogger too much. Then another very exciting thing happened to Bella. She won first prize in a raffle. It was a huge yellow teddy bear wearing a beautiful silk bow. He was almost as big as Dave. Dave didn't like that teddy bear at all. And that moment he didn't like Bella very much either, because she kept winning things. He went off on his own to look at the stalls. One lady had a toy stall full of knitted ducks and cars and baby dolls in bonnets, and there at the very back of the stall, behind a lot of other toys, was Dogger. He was wearing a ticket saying 5p. There were lots of people round the stall. Dave tried to explain to the lady that it was his Dogger who'd got lost and somehow ended up on the stall by mistake, but she wasn't listening. He looked in his pocket. He had 3p, and that wasn't enough. He ran to find Mum and Dad to ask them to buy Dogger back at once. Dave went everywhere in the crowd, but he couldn't see Mum and Dad. He thought he was going to cry. At last he found Bella by the cakes. When she heard about Dogger, she and Dave ran back to the toy stall as fast as they could. But something terrible had just happened. Dogger had been bought by a little girl, and she was already walking off with him. Dave began to cry. Bella ran after her and tried to explain that Dogger really belonged to Dave, and could they please buy him back. But the little girl said no. She had bought Dogger with her own money, and she wanted him. She held on to him very tightly. Dave cried and cried. The little girl started to cry too. But out of the corner of her eye she caught sight of Bella's big yellow teddy, and she stopped crying and put her hand out to stroke the beautiful big silk bow. Then Bella did something very kind. "Would you swap this teddy for my brother's dog then?" she asked. Right away the little girl stopped crying and began to smile. She held out Dogger to Dave and took the big teddy instead and went off with him in her arms. Then Dave smiled too. He hugged Dogger, and then he hugged Bella round the waist. "Thank you, Bella," he said. That night Dave had Dogger beside him in bed. Bella was practicing somersaults. "Shall you miss that big teddy?" Dave asked her. "No," said Bella. "I didn't really like him much. He was too big and his eyes were too staring, and anyway, if I had another teddy in bed, there wouldn't be room for me." I Like Books by Anthony Brown. I like books, funny books and scary books, fairy tales and nursery rhymes, comic books and colouring books, fat books and thin books, books about dinosaurs and books about monsters, counting books and alphabet books, books about space and books about pirates, song books and strange books. Yes, really I do like books. I Love You Through and Through by Bernadette Rossetti Shostak. I love you through and through. I love your top side. I love your bottom side. I love your inside and outside. I love your happy side and your blue side, your silly side, your hullabaloo side. I love your fingers and toes, your ears and nose. I love your hair and eyes, your giggles and cries. I love you running and walking, silent and talking. I love you through and through, yesterday, today and tomorrow too. Hippo Has a Hat by Julia Donaldson, illustrated by Nick Sharratt. Lots of clothes, let's try them, maybe we can buy them. Tiger tries a shirt, leopard likes this skirt. Hippo has a hat, a cardigan for cat. Camel finds a coat, an anorak for goat. Toad's tracksuit is too big, these jeans are tight on pig. Zebra's zip has stuck, this can't be right, says duck. shoes for caterpillar, slippers for gorilla. Flamingo buys a bag, a string of beads for stag. Now everyone looks smart, so let the party start. Dr. Pig by Emily Gale and Mark Marshall. Finley Pig was happy. Life couldn't be better. It's all right for some, said Agatha Chicken, who was always sticking her beak in. This is a busy farm, Lazybones, she clucked. I'm not Lazybones, I'm Finley. Cheeky pig! Agatha flapped her wings and squawked until Finley ran away. Finley sat under a tree to think. Mud baths were lovely, but he did want to be a big help on a busy farm. What would he be good at? I've got it! Mummy Pig was puzzled. Where are you going with all of that, Finley? It's not Finley, it's Dr. Pig, and I'm late for my first patient. What seems to be the trouble, Mrs. Moo? Mrs. Moo mooed. Don't say moo, say ah, said Finley. Finley, there's nothing wrong with my leg. Hold still, please, for Dr. Pig. Chester Sheep was not good at having his heart listened to. He wouldn't stop munching. Munch, munch, munch. The geese, Heidi and Dora, refused their medicine. The sheepdog ran away. Being a doctor was really hard work, but the most difficult patients of all were the chickens. At the end of the long day, Mummy Pig was pleased to see Finley. I'm very good at being a doctor, said Finley, but I'm better at being me. Life couldn't be better. Hippospotamus by Jean Willis and Tony Ross. Hippopotamus had a spotamus on her bottomus. It's measles, said Weasel. You sat in a breezel and caught a diseasel. There's only one treatment, exposing your seatment to sunshine and heatment. Potamus stood on her head, tail to the sun like Weasel said, but the spotamus stayed red. It's hippopox, said Fox, wear woolly pants and socks, warm petticoats and frocks. But Potamus got hotimus, grumpimus and grottimus, and still she had the spotimus. It's jungle fever, said Beaver. I believe we should leave her to scrub her skin with soot. So Potimus got sootimus from nosimus to footimus, but the spotimus stayed put. It's hippolumps, said Lion. It's potomumps, said Shrew. It's hippoflu, said Rhino, but no one had a clue. I'm a doctor, said the Croc. Do you feel any pain? When I stroke it and poke it, let me try that again. A needle in the bottomus will rid you of this spotimus. Despite his perfect shotimus, the cure was in vain. It's a blister, said her sister. You should pop it right away. It's a trapped hair, said Brown Bear. You should smother it with clay. It's notimus. What rotimus, you clotimus, hissed Snake. This lippy hippopotamus is allergic to cake. Cut out the chico-chocamus, eat lettuce for a week. But the spot on Hippo's bottomus stuck firmly to her cheek. Then all sad and snotimus there came a little lad who searched around a lotimus for something he once had. He knew he'd put it somewhere, but alas, he had forgotimus, until he saw the body of the spotty hippopotamus. The small boy had a sneaky peek and tweaked the hippo's bum. That's not a spot, he squeaked. That's my bubble gum.